Hi loves, welcome back to the channel. This is the continuation tutorial on how to make this Veekee James dress. In my previous video, I showed how I drafted and cut the pattern of this dress. Please feel free to scroll through the videos tab on the channel to check out the video for better understanding, or you can just tell me in the comment section and I will send you the drafting tutorial. In this video, we are going to be cutting on fabric and then sewing the dress. So this is the whole 3 yards of the fabric. So I'm going to fold the whole 3 yards of fabric into two. And so now that I have folded the fabric into two equal parts, can you see? So this is the side that is in yardage, okay? So I'll take that side that is in yardage and then meet the other side like so in a bias form, okay? So now I have my fabric well arranged in bias form. As you can notice, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 here, okay? That means I am going to be cutting the 4 curves at once because I have 1 curve at the middle, 2 curves by the sides, and then 1 at the back, which makes it 4 pieces, okay? So I'll get the curve. So these are the curves. The 4 of them are the same. So I'm going to take one part of the curve to cut the 4 curves, okay? If you have enough fabric, you can place your curve on fold so that you have more fullness. But if you place it on fold, that means you just have about 2 pieces now. Then you need to get another angle to get more 2 pieces, okay? If it is on fold. But I'm not going to be placing mine on fold because I do not have enough fabric. I want to use this to cut the 4 pieces, okay? If you want more fullness, you can just cut 2 pieces of this on fold and then get another 2 pieces on fold if you have enough fabric, but that will take you up to 4 yards if you want it that full. So what I'm going to do is very simple. You have to pay attention. I will measure the curve. I have 3 inches here as the size of the curve. So I'll multiply that by 2, which is 6. So I'll look for where I have up to 6 inches. So this is it. I have up to 6 inches here. So I'll go ahead and mark down whatever it is, okay, to have up to that my 6 inches. All right, then I'll find the middle point of that 6 inches, which is 3. Okay, so I'll carefully place my pattern on that 3 inches mark. Can you see? If you're cutting yours on fold, then you just have to bring it here and then add ½ inch seam allowance, okay? But I'm not cutting mine on fold. I'm going to separate mine. So because of that, I'll come here and pin down the pattern paper, okay? I'll come to the top here and mark down ½ inch joining seam allowance, okay, around the curve like so. Then from that point, I want to know the length of my curve. Okay, I have 43.5. So I'll go ahead and mark 43.5 all around this fabric. Okay, 43.5. Then I'll go ahead and cut the length. So I'll come here and add ½ inch joining seam allowance all around the curve. Then after marking that side, I'll turn my pattern paper so that I can also create curve around this side. So I'll flip the pattern to this side so that I can also create curve around there. So I'll go ahead and mark down the ½ inch joining seam allowance around this place to create a curve too. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and cut. I'll have to open up this part. I'm not having it unfold. I don't have enough fabric. But if you have enough fabric, you just cut one side and then get another angle, all right? Unfold too. Then that means you have just 2 pieces for one curve and you cut another 2 pieces. I'll remove the pattern paper, and this is what I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, my curves are 4 pieces. So now I have my 4 curve patterns complete. Okay, so I'll go ahead and notch the midpoint because I'll be needing the midpoint of the curve. So I'll go ahead and notch that midpoint. I'll keep that aside and then cut the bodice. So now I have already cut the bodice. Can you see? This is the front block and then the back block over there, okay? And I added 1.5 side seam allowance, all right? You can add to up to 2 inches if you want more side seam allowance, all right? And then for the curves, I added 1/2 inch joining seam allowance around the curve, and at the neckline too. I did not add any allowance at the armhole because I'm going to be piping the armhole with bias tape. Then for the back, I also added 1.5 side seam allowance, 1/2 inch for the curves, and then 0.75 zipper allowance. Okay, I want my zipper to start from the chest line, so I'm going to start installing my zipper from this chest line. I don't want my zipper to get to the neckline. If you want to extend your zipper to the neckline, you can go ahead and extend it to the neckline. So I will start fixing my zipper from here. Then I'll fold this part in, okay, so that I can have like a keyhole around there, all right? Then I went ahead to trace the darts. Can you see? Because I'm going to be sewing the darts, all right? My front block is on fold. Can you see? So to trace out the darts, you have to use pins. You can notch the side darts. So can you see I've notched the side darts? I'm going to pin where the dart stopped. Okay. So can you see I have pinned where the dart stops so that it can serve as a guideline for me when I flip to the other side. So I'll go ahead and mark it down to indicate where my darts should stop. Then I'll remove the pin. And then from that point, I will draw out my dart line. Okay. I already have my side darts at the other side. So I'll also mark down the waist dart as well. So I'll pin where the dart stops as a guideline. What we are going to do now is to go ahead and sew the darts down, okay? Please remember to notch the middle point of your neckline because you're going to use it as a guide. Then I'll hold the darts down. We'll hold the darts together and then stitch the darts, okay? And I will also install the zipper. So now I have already stitched the darts. Can you see? The waist darts and the side darts for the front. I also went ahead to pipe the armhole with bias tape. Okay, and this is the back too. So I have already stitched the darts as well at the back. And I also went ahead to install my zipper. Remember I said I am not starting my zipper from the neckline. So my zipper started from somewhere at the chest line, okay? And I went ahead to also pipe the armhole, right? I went ahead to give it a very good press. Very important. You need to press your darts down so that you can have very neat finish, all right? Now I'm going to pin the front and the back block together so that we can join them by the sides, okay? I'll go ahead and mark the side seam allowance. I have 1.5 side seam allowance, so I'll mark the side seam allowance down and then go over to my sewing machine and stitch on the 1.5 side seam marking. So after stitching on the sides, this is what I have. What we are going to be doing next is to fix the collar, all right? So this is the collar that we already drafted. I placed on my fabric and I added half-inch allowance at the top and at the down part, as well as the middle of the back, okay? As you can notice, the front is on fold. That will be the middle part of the front, okay? Then I'll go ahead and cut. Then I'll cut another piece as a facing piece. So if I should open up my collar, this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and cut interfacing for the collar. After ironing the interfacing, can you see? I went ahead to fold in half-inch, all right, at the hemline. And for the top line, I marked the half-inch allowance, okay? So I'll get the facing piece and then pin them together with the right sides facing each other, okay? I'll go over to my sewing machine now and stitch from one side to the top of the neckline and then to the other side, okay, with the half-inch marking that I already have there. If you are adding loop, you can go ahead and add your loop, your button loops, okay? I'm going to be adding button loops, okay? One will be at the top and the other one will be at the hem, okay? So this is what it looks like after stitching on the half-inch markings. So I went ahead to clip on the curve so that it can lay flat when I flip to the right side. I gave it a very good press. So next thing we are going to do now is to fix the collar to the bodice. So I'll bring the front neckline of the bodice and then I'll bring the middle point of the collar and notch it. I'll match the middle point of the collar to the middle point of the bodice with the right sides facing each other and pin them down. If I get to where the neckline of the bodice stopped, I'll stop there. So this is what I have for the front. Then for the back, I'll get the back and then start fixing from the back, all right? Can you see? And pin. If I get to where the back bodice neckline ends, I'll stop there. Can you see what I have? I will also pin the other side as well. I'll go over to my sewing machine now and stitch on the back neckline on both sides. Then I will also stitch the front neckline to the collar, all right, with half-inch seam allowance. After stitching the collar to the bodice, I'll go ahead and then fold in that half-inch and then top stitch on it. I have top stitched on the collar. This is what I have. Can you see? So I'll be fixing buttons, two buttons here. All right, then the next thing we are going to be doing now is to fix in the curves. So these are the curves. So I'll get one piece of the curve. Remember that I had to notch the middle point of the curves. So I'll get that middle point and then pin it down by the side. I will start with the side, then I'll pin it down. You can start from anywhere. So I'll get the second curve and then pin it down at the back. Then the other side, I will also pin the third curve. The last one is the middle of the front. I will also get the last curve and then pin it down from the center as well. Now I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and then join the curves, all right? And when I get to where the bodice ended, I will stop, okay? I will do that on all the sides and then come back to the camera. So now after joining the curves, this is what it looks like. I stopped each one where the bodice ended. This is the front and the back. I will also go ahead and clip on the curves so that they can lay flat when I press the seam lines open. We are almost done with the dress. The next thing we are going to do is to close up the remaining opening on the curves, okay, we just have to bring them together and then stitch on them to close the remaining openings. Okay, I'm going to do that on my sewing machine. Now this is what the dress looks like after closing up the remaining openings. Okay, I will also go on and press the seam lines open. This is very important so that you can have a very neat finishing. Okay, and then I will also hem the dress, right, and give it a very good press. I want to make a fuller version of this dress. That is, the curves will be a full flare, like it's going to be fuller at the down part. Would you want me to record the tutorial? Tell me in the comment section and I'll film the tutorial right away. Don't forget to hit on that subscribe button if you have not subscribed. Turn on your notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video, you will be notified. See you in the next video.